Yeah, I mean, financially, I've been very smart with my money. I don't buy frivolous stuff. Like, I'm driving a truck now with 130,000 miles on it. Like, I don't like spending money on shit. Like, but after my racing career is done, by no means am I going to just sail off into the sunset and not have to work. You know what I mean? That's just the way the racing is now. I try to save as much as I can, but as far as thinking about a plan B, there never has been one. It's plan A and give 100% into that. When that time unfortunately comes, I'll worry about it then.
Yeah. What about you're married? You've been married for how many years now?
Shit, 3, 4 years now.
Not to put you on the
You're
spot.
gonna get me in trouble. Tell me the
fuck.
calculation.
We're deep into it. She probably won't make it this long.
Yeah, hopefully not. Love you.
Yeah. What about kids? Is that something on your radar at all?
Yeah, it's definitely something on the radar now. We're getting a little bit older. And we always said once we get settled into the country, we kind of start thinking about that. Whereas, before we're worried about visas and traveling backwards and forwards, and with the whole COVID thing happening, kind of postponed that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely on the cards sometime soon. I don't know how soon, but yeah, I mean, if you had asked me beginning of last year, I would have been like, oh, never. That's in a couple of years' time. But times have definitely changed. Like one of the craziest things when I went back home now, around the Christmas time, two of my best friends, well, like two of my really good friends that I went to school with, they got married, and they also talking about kids, and it was like some of the final guys who get married in our friendship group that we went to school with, and a couple of the guys' wives that got pregnant in the last 6 months, and it's like, wow, this is actually happening.
It's
Life
real.
has been moving by quickly.
Yeah.
I can look in the mirror and start to see myself balding, start to see wrinkles around the eyes, and time is moving by, so better get going on it.
Don't talk about hair, man.
Yeah.
Dude, mine. I'm gonna be big Phil here real soon,
You're
dude.
Grandpa Jimmy
Yeah,
over here.
It's
you're
not
gonna have to
cute.
go to Turkey, dude. Operation done, man.
What do you think about your kids racing though? Like, do you think obviously you just talked about how expensive it is, but would
Yeah.
you be willing to make the same sacrifices your dad made for you, for your kid?
If they have the passion and the will and the drive for it, yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean,
Even
I think
knowing like now the outcome as far as like there's obviously a lot of other things you could do if you put
Yeah.
as much effort into and have financially at least a lot different outcome. Would that weigh into it, knowing that you've been through it now?
I would say, yeah. I think all three of us sitting here, none of us became professional riders to be millionaires. You do it because you love it, and that's your goal, passion, hobby. And if my kid has that same dreams, then go for it, man. Whatever makes you happy, you can worry about making money later on in life.
Yeah. I don't know.
But it would be
I'm
nice
stressed
if we
about that
could
as I'm
get
getting later on in my
Yeah.
I don't. Nothing's getting cheaper. The older I get, it's like nothing's getting cheaper. The hobbies change, but they're the fucking same expense.
I happen
We're
to
getting
like
older,
frivolous
man. I was
things.
like, oh, petrol used to be $1.89, now it's $2.89. I'm like,
Bro.
I sound like my dad.
I know.
When I was a kid, I was like, he always complains about things costing more, and I'll say the same shit, and I'm like, maybe I'm getting old, man.
Man,
Yeah.
when I saw Arizona iced tea go to $1.29, I knew life was over.
$1.29 now?
Yeah, so you
No
had to,
way.
oh yeah, it's not 99
They
cents.
changed the cans?
Yeah, there's no cans that are 99 cents anymore.
That's crazy.
That's a big one.
What is this country coming to, guys?
I don't know. But it's crazy though, because I feel like a lot of the other generations, they've had like this, it happened over a long period of time.
Yeah.
And then for us, like if you look just like 8 years ago,
Yeah.
how much stuff has jumped because of the inflation is like, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
said something now that the average person will never actually like buy their own home. They're only going to rent for the rest of their life. And back then on a household salary, you could afford this, and now with a household salary, you can only do this much.
Yeah.
So things are definitely getting tougher.
I know we're looking at moving to Georgia.
Shame, dude. Sorry, man.
It's a lot cheaper than New York, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I know a lot of guys living out in California, like Cam Peterson, and we're always comparing prices for certain
Dude.
things. I'm like, dude, it's crazy how you're living there.
Yeah.
I know that it's probably more fun and cooler. You got like the Los Angeles, and got like the palm trees from the movies and stuff. But life is
Bro.
just crazy costs out there.
Yeah, but like just a mortgage is insane. Like even to Florida, Like, dude, it's just crazy. Like, it's like you can't even fathom people spending that amount of money on just certain things. I mean, this guy knows you lived on the fucking beach, bro.
Yeah.
Dude.
No, it didn't last very long.
Dude, you were
6 months. That was it.
Racing took all the money, man.
About broke. Yeah, we had my one super bike here. And
So
that
do
was
you?
it.
But for like from like a financial perspective, are you like? Do you have like stocks, and are you like trying to build wealth in different ways, or are you just like?
Yeah, no. I mean, I've definitely got some money, you know,
So you're
put
doing-
up in some things. You know, unfortunately, the stock market, I'm down a couple $1,000 now with how things are
Yeah.
going. But I mean, yeah, I've been pretty smart with my money. You know, I don't keep, you know, lots of money sitting in a like, you know, checking account that I
Yeah.
can just bring out money. I've got lots of stuff like tied up in
Okay.
different areas. And you know, my dad was, you know, extremely smart with his money. He's kind of helped me out a lot.
Great.
Yeah.
I think that's always such a good point to talk about because we see, you know, even like these kids that have success, right, and they get a little bit, right, of money, and it's tough to hang on. It's really hard in this day and age to hang on to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and I think one of the biggest learning curves was you get a $25,000 check for a championship bonus, whatever it is. Like $12,000 of that goes to tax. You get this check and you like, oh, I got 25 grand. You don't have 25 grand.
Yeah.
You've only got half of that. Half of it goes to tax, man.
Yeah.
Like which like a lot of people think they're getting paid this much money. You're only getting paid 60% of that. The other bit goes towards tax. You know what I mean? So it's like that's also a big learning curve. You know,
How does that
Tell
work
me
for
about
you
it.
in your situation with like income and tax? Do you have to pay in South Africa too?
No. I think if you spend more than 120 days back in South Africa, you then would have to pay double tax. You know, maybe if you know during these 4 or 5 week breaks, I would maybe have gone home more than I you know have been in the last couple of seasons, but I will never stay outside of the country here for more than 120 days, or I would have to pay tax in both the countries.
Yeah. There's so many different layers to not you know being from America or just racing in a country that's not your homeland
Yeah.
that I think people don't